Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pie Guy and Brodeur. One voice, two minds. I'm your host, Pie Guy, and before we begin, remember, and if maybe you've been pondering this question, where in the world can I find the rest of these pie-tacular episodes and, of course, this one-of-a-kind podcast? Well, that's a great question. Remember, you can always find this podcast on YouTube on the one and only Brodeurland YouTube channel, and of course, Spotify under Pie Guy and Brodeur. Now, today on this episode, we are going to be talking about self-discipline. That's right, a very hard word for a lot of people, including myself. But let me not get ahead of myself because we also have to go and we've got to introduce the one, the only Brodeur of Brodeurland, Mr. Brodeur. Hey, Pie Guy, that's right. We're going to be talking about self-discipline, and you've got it, Pie Guy. This one's a hard one. This one's a challenging one for many people. And this word self-discipline, I love a lot because it really motivates me the more I think about it, and I'm really excited to dive into this, Pie Guy, because self-discipline has a lot of different layers, but it works well with all the words of the week that we've been talking about so far. You can't just have self-discipline by itself. You really got to incorporate all these words of the week in addition to self-discipline. I'm so excited, Mr. Brodeur. Just you talking about, again, branching all these words together, whether it's persevering or resilience or reflective. And now I guess you could even go into self-discipline. I can't wait to pick your brain and really see what you got to share with us today and talk about when it comes down to self-discipline. Me too, Pie Guy. So I'm ready to dive on in. Are you, Pie Guy? Most definitely. I'm ready to slice into this word of the week. And so without further ado, Mr. Brodeur, let's dive on in and let me get things rolling with this. All right, Mr. Brodeur, what does it mean to have self-discipline? How can I, or for our viewers, how can we be more disciplined in our life? Yeah. So, Pie Guy, let's start with the Brodeurland definition for self-discipline. And it goes like this. It's the ability to control your feelings and really overcome your weaknesses to improve yourself in order to pursue what you think is right, despite those temptations to really abandon it. You see, Pie Guy, the most important part to this definition, it's all about control. Can I control my feelings? Can I control my thoughts? Can I control my actions? You see, Pie Guy, we always get these temptations, these thoughts of, why do I got to do this? Maybe I'll just wait till tomorrow. No, you have to stay focused. You have to persevere through the laziness and do what you know is right. That can be really hard, Pie Guy. Yes, Mr. Brodeur. I love how you talk about control. It is so hard to control our emotions at times. And I can see how control can really help us fight those temptations that want to get us off track, right? Get us off mission. Most definitely, Pie Guy. You see, when I think of self-discipline, I think the first step you have to master and control are definitely your thoughts. Like this quote from Napoleon Hill. He says this, self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. If you want self-discipline, Pie Guy, you have to work on your thoughts. The way you think, your thoughts coming in your head, they're very powerful. You probably heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out. I have, Mr. Brodeur. I've heard that saying before. Well, Pie Guy, what if I told you that is one of the most misleading sayings of all time? What, Mr. Brodeur? How could it be? I mean, it's so universally, I guess you could say, used and known. Well, Pie Guy, the truth is, garbage in, garbage stays. Your negative thoughts in, those negative thoughts stay. You are going to believe those thoughts, and they will stay with you, whether they're positive or whether they're negative. So think about it this way. Knowledge in, knowledge stays. Wisdom in, wisdom stays. Positivity in, positivity stays. What are you going to feed your mind with? I get it, Mr. Brodeur. like we throw garbage in a bag, it stays there. And if we feed ourselves with negativity, we'll create a bad habit of filling our mind and thoughts with discouraging and non-motivating ideas. Most definitely, Pie Guy, exactly. So the question you, me, and everybody has to ask is, are we going to feed our minds with negative thoughts that are going to really make us feel down and bring us down? No. We got to fill them with positivity. We got to fill them with knowledge, helpful thoughts to keep us moving forward. You see, you're somebody. You're capable. You're strong. You're worthy. You're smart. The problem is we've got to believe in that. We've got to believe in ourselves. We all have dignity. We all have a purpose. The question is, are you going to believe in yourself today? I love it, Mr. Brodeur. So let me ask you this. How do you train your mind to not think negatively? I mean, I feel at times these thoughts just kind of jump right in, and that's all I can think about. I as much as I try to control them, I can't help these, thoughts that just pop in my brain. Yeah, good question, Pie Guy. So first, it takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of practice. And more importantly, it takes a lot of consistency. You can just say one day, oh, okay, I am going to start thinking positive. But that's only a day. That's only an hour. That's only 30 minutes, right? You've got to be consistent. You got to keep doing it, right? The biggest bodybuilders in the world, they don't just work out an hour and boom, they've got it, right? It's consistency. It's working over time. And I'll say this, I was always a world-class leader in negativity back in the day. Really? You, Mr. Brodeur? Yes, Pie Guy. I used to think all the time worst-case scenarios, right? Until I heard the motivational speaker Tony Robbins talk about skiing. Skiing, Mr. Brodeur? Yes, skiing, Pie Guy. Now, I've never been skiing, but he made such a good point. He said, why is it that some skiers, they can make it through obstacles or a forest of trees and others can't? I don't know, Mr. Brodeur. Why? Well, Pie Guy, it's because he says the failures only focus on the trees, while the successful focus on the path through the trees. I see, Mr. Brodeur. When we focus on the mistakes or obstacles, you can't really get past them. But when you focus on the solutions and paths forward, you can make it through. Exactly, Pie Guy. I could have not said it any better. For example, let me share about my Eminem parody song I sing in my classes from time to time. Mr. Brodeur, you have an Eminem parody song? Oh, of course I do, Pie Guy. And it's based off of Lose Yourself. But mine is called You Better Persevere. And this by far was, and I'll be honest, still is the hardest song for me to memorize and sing. It is long, it's fast, has so many words, right? And I'm still nervous, and of course in the past was nervous to really sing this song, learn it, perform it. But Pie Guy, it never failed. If I kept focusing on the mid part of the song, I would tend to mess up on it every single time. It never failed because I was so focused on that part because I knew, I was always going to slip up right there, right? I had to be confident. I had to tell myself, go out there, have fun, sing it like I do at home when I practice. Sing it like you just really mean it. Imagine myself performing it perfectly and just going and having fun. Whoa, Mr. Brodeur, you practice your songs? Of course, Pie Guy. The more I practice, the more confident and natural it becomes. And so one day, you know what I said? I told myself, just go out there, perform it, and imagine, like I just said, being comfortable and performing it amazingly, right? Just going out there, doing it. Sure enough, Pie Guy, the funny thing is, I sang it, I didn't fall apart in that mid part. I just sang it straight through. I got into the moment and I just performed it the way I knew I could perform it. I had to change my mindset, my thoughts. It was scary because you're breaking this habit of, I got to be anxious before I perform. I have to feel this way before I perform. No, you don't. You can go out there with confidence. And that was hard for me because I felt guilty. I felt like I was breaking this strategy, but the strategy was a bad strategy. I needed to break it. And the moment I did that, the moment I could perform and really showcase my talents and creations, man, talk about a difference maker, Pie Guy. Wow, Mr. Brodeur, thank you for sharing that. Was it hard to get to that point, to let yourself think differently? I mean, you were kind of alluding to that, but the reason I ask is you had to try that out in front of a class of middle school students. I don't think that's an easy feat, Mr. Brodeur. Well, like I said, Pie Guy, nothing is ever easy when you're trying things out. And let's talk about breaking a habit, right? I could feel myself wanting to revert so badly back to my old ways of thinking. I mean, that's where we're comfortable, right? But you can't allow that comfortability to sit in or it can hold you back. So I had to force myself to try it once, see what happens, to fight the urge, to focus not on my mistakes, but focus on the solutions. You have to try. You got to rip off the Band-Aid. But Pie Guy, here's the deal. Through controlling my thoughts, I was able to do it. By believing in myself, I was able to do it. But then I had to keep doing it. I had to be consistent. I couldn't just do it one day, right? But also, Pie Guy, this is just the first step in our self-discipline journey in the sense of controlling our thoughts. All right, Mr. Brodeur. Well, let me ask you this. If controlling our thoughts is just the first step, what would be the next step then? Well, Pie Guy, the next step is all about controlling our actions. It's like Warren Buffett says, we don't have to be smarter than the rest. We have to be more disciplined than the rest. You see, a lot of people associate success with being the smartest, the brightest person in the room. Now, don't get me wrong. Having knowledge is important. Being intelligent, yes, that's great. But self-discipline is one of those top traits to have when you are seeking out personal growth, goals, whatever it is. You see, you could be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't have self-discipline, you are not going to be effective with that intelligence, with that knowledge, with your gifts. You're not going to use it appropriately to really achieve those goals that you're trying to seek out. You could be so wasteful with your gifts and really just let everything fall apart. You don't want that to happen. Wow, Mr. Brodeur, that is so true. There are so many people that I run into, whether it's at work or just around, or maybe it's friends, family, that have so much potential, but they don't tap into their gifts. They just take them for granted. And you know what, Mr. Brodeur, to be honest, I probably do that from time to time as well. And you know what, Pie Guy? We all do that from time to time. We get lazy. We let temptation set in. But you see, with self-discipline, you can apply this control to where you can use those gifts, those talents effectively. You can use that knowledge. You can use those experiences, that intelligence to get those projects done, to finish that goal, to move forward on those goals, to see and feel that success. Bam, that's what's important. You have to control your actions, control your thoughts. That way you can do what you know is right and what you should do. You know what, Pie Guy? Even when you don't feel like it. Oh, yes, Mr. Brodeur. I feel like that's the hardest part. You know you want to do something, but then you just feel like, oh, do I really want to do it? Should I just put it off? Yeah, Pie Guy. And you see, that is self-discipline at its finest. You see, I feel like so many of us, we feel that laziness. We hear and think all the reasons why we shouldn't do it, but you got to go out there. You got to fight those temptations, and you've got to do it anyways and see what happens. And I'll tell you this. I have a lot of regret early on in my teaching career for not trying things sooner and being lazy and saying, you know what, maybe next week, and never getting around to that idea or that strategy. Okay, Mr. Brodeur, so since you're talking about strategies and a little bit of regret, can you give us an example? Or could you share with us maybe something that you're like, man, I didn't have self-discipline, but I really wish I did back then, and I do it a little bit more now. Yeah, and I'll tell you this, Pie Guy, an easy one that I can think of right off the top of my head where I did not follow through and have that discipline that I should have is really trying to make my classroom run smoother. And an easy little thing that I kept putting off many of times was creating a new seating chart. And I would put it off or tell myself, you know what, I'll get that done tomorrow. And I would just keep pushing it off just to see maybe my classroom would get more focused. And you know the funny thing, Pie Guy? It didn't. It would continue to lose focus, momentum, and the behaviors would stay the same. What was I thinking? It would just magically just bam overnight with no change? Definitely not. The moment I started doing a little new seating chart right away, man, did the results show, and I could learn from the changes. And you know what? Just keep tweaking. Because here's the deal. Seating charts, they're not always going to be the end all be all of fixes, right? They're a starting point. And that's what I needed. I needed a starting point. And they're not always going to fix the problem, but they can start me off. But the key is you got to follow through, whether it's a seating chart, whether it's an approach, whether it's a strategy, right? The moment you do something and you focus on solutions and start putting them into place, it is so surprising how your anxiety can just start to decrease. And life does not seem really as scary anymore. It's funny, Pie Guy, the more I ignore something on my to-do list, like calling home for a student, finishing making a test, right? Maybe finishing filling out some data sheets for my administration, my anxiety climbs, right? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, the stuff is mounting. But if I really start tackling these tasks, it's funny, Pie Guy, my anxiety drops. And when I finish, surprisingly, no more anxiety, no more stress. I mean, let me reiterate that. There will always be stresses that kind of creep in our life. But that thing that was weighing on me, wow, I don't feel that weight anymore. And we always want to procrastinate. But the key to self-discipline is fighting through the insanity, right, of staying the same and hoping for magical new results and pushing through to try things and search and try for the answers you are trying to reach. That's the power of self-discipline right there. Pie-tacular, Mr. Brodeurland. I love that you stress the importance of doing something and not procrastinating. Get started and really see what happens, right? And really fight through those thoughts that want to bring us down and really push forward, tackle those tasks so our stress, our anxiety, our worries can diminish, can decrease. Exactly, Pie Guy. You have to go out there. You got to do something, and you've got to stay disciplined, even when things are still difficult or even when things may be easy. That's, to be honest, Pie Guy, the part when things are easy and we kind of get into a routine, that's when we're really going to watch it, because we can really let ourselves go since, you know what, things are smooth. No, you got to keep pushing forward. Stay consistent at improving yourself. Sometimes you have to try self-discipline with a simple task. Like for me, saving my Sprite. What, Mr. Brodeurland? What do you mean about saving your Sprite? Is this like a code for something? No, Pie Guy. So what I'm talking about is saving my Sprite is this. It's kind of become a joke with some of the teachers, but anytime we have a faculty meeting or maybe a meeting at school, they, sometimes have soft drinks to wake us up at the end of the day, give us a little bit of energy to get through the meeting and the rest of the day. And so I'll grab myself a Sprite. You know, Mr. Brodeur, there isn't caffeine in Sprite. I know that, Pie Guy. I just like Sprite over Coke. So I don't need that caffeine, to be quite honest. But I do not drink it then. I wait and I save it for later. Okay, Mr. Brodeur, you're really confusing me. This does really sound a little silly. So they offer you soda for energy, a little sugar rush, a little caffeine if you chose Coke, but instead you take one and you save it for later so you don't even use it. Well, and yes, Pie Guy, to most people, this would be a little silly, right? But to me, it is a practice in discipline, because I will save that Sprite for a Thursday evening or the weekend as a little reward and to test my patience. Like I said, it sounds silly. Like you said, it may sound a little silly, but little things like that can be the starting point, can be your little tests to help you grow and try self-discipline in a low-risk environment to grow your confidence, to grow your discipline, and really see, hey, that was easy. It was a fun little game. Sure, it was a little Sprite. Now let me try it with something bigger, right, Pie Guy? Awesome. Pie-tacular, Mr. Brodeur. You know what? I do like your little Sprite thing. It is a little silly, but I totally get it. And we could all do something small, even if it's weird and even if it's a little bit quirky with your Sprite. But I get the practice. I get the idea. I get the strategy you're talking about. Now, we are getting to that time, Mr. Brodeur, where we got to start wrapping things up. So, is there anything else you want to share before we have to go? Yes, Pie Guy. Let's finish off talking about this quote. And I really love it because I believe it sums up the whole idea of self-discipline. And it goes like this. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Mr. Brodeur, I love that quote. I do feel like it really sums up our conversation today. Me too, Pie Guy. And here's the deal. Throughout life, in different situations, we find ourselves really asking the questions, should I or should I not? All the time in my math class, maybe the Sunday school classes I teach, this podcast, the videos I do. Should I keep doing this? Is it worth it? Why don't I just take a break? No. We've got to keep focused. We've got to keep growing. We've got to keep trying, even when you feel like you want to quit. Mr. Brodeur, what if things are not working out? Maybe things aren't coming out great. Well, Pie Guy, time to embrace the mistakes. Be reflective. Persevere forward. Try things at a new angle. You know what, Mr. Brodeur? You're right. And like you mentioned and previewed earlier in this episode, right at the beginning, you said self-discipline is not meant to be used alone, but with all the words of the week. Whether, like you just said, embrace mistakes, being reflective, persevering. Yes, Pie Guy, self-discipline is just a part of your overall growth, of really becoming that best version of yourself. Every day, we are presented with opportunities to really better ourselves, to be kind, to make good choices, right? But a lot of times we allow those opportunities to just slip away. Don't let them slip away. It is time to have that self-discipline. Time to ask yourself, what should I do? And you know what, Pie Guy? We've got to do it. Even when we don't feel like it. That's the key. That's the spark to really igniting discipline in your life, to have that control over your thoughts, over your actions. Do what you know you should do and not let laziness and people's criticisms really bring you down. Stand on up. Feed your mind, not with the garbage, not with the negative thoughts. No, it's time to feed your thoughts with that positivity, with the mindset that you can, you're worthy, you're capable. You've got to tell yourself you can. Take the word, the phrase, I can't, put it in a box, bring it outside, bury it, and never see it again. That's what you need to really master self-discipline, to really allow it to breathe through your life, make a difference in your life and the people you encounter every day. Time to go out there and bring self-discipline into your life right now. Don't wait another second. Pie-tacular, Mr. Brodeur. I love it. And your energy right there at the end. You must have had a little Sprite in you right there. Anywho, you make me really want to go out there right now and start to focus. Start to really ask myself, can I control the actions that I'm going to take in my life? And also, can I control my thoughts? Can I really apply self-discipline to my life? Amazing. Now remember, my friends, always stay infinite. Don't put limits on yourself. Expand your horizons. And you know what, Mr. Brodeur? You got to send us off in style like always. Sure thing, Pie Guy. So always remember, you make each day a special day by just you, me, and you. There's nobody in the whole world like you except you, and I like you just the way you truly are. It's good that you exist, but you got to go out there. You got to control your actions. You've got to control your thoughts so you can have self-discipline in your life and become that best version of yourself. So until next time, Broder out. Peace.